It's Dave Lawrence, the Workforce Afternoon, and 4 weeks at Rocked America. We wrap it up with a very special guest I had the pleasure of speaking with last year, and now he joins me again to help us wrap up our celebration of American rock and to talk about Big Bang Theory. His new CD, it's out next week, and I'm pleased to welcome back to KPOI 105.9, the Big Kahuna, Styx legend and truly nice guy, Tommy Shaw. Aloha, brother.
Aloha, Dave.
Good to hear from you, man. How you been?
I've been great, man. We're gearing up to hit the road again. Or actually, we're on the road now, but it's starting to get hot and heavy, and we're going to play a whole bunch of shows, then go to Europe, and then come back and play a whole bunch more shows.
You're working it, man, and there's no doubt about that. But before we get into the fun stuff, there's something that was serious in the news recently, and Styx's name, of course, got brought up around it, and that was the loss of Johnny Johnson. And I know you got to work with him recently when you guys were doing those. I guess it's on the new record, the Blue Collar Man 2120 from 2120 South Michigan.
Right.
And can you share with us, with folks, a little bit of, because we talked about that before, but that's pretty significant stuff. That, I mean, you've worked with a lot of legendary people, but if you can sort of plug us in on how it came to be that you made that connection.
Well, it was when we decided to go into 2120 South Michigan last June 28th, and Johnny accepted our invitation to come up from St. Louis, and he just turned out to be the sweetest legend that you could ever imagine. And it's ironic that you mention it, because today when we got to our hotel here in Texas, I had ordered this videotape, because it's not available on DVD, of Hail Hail Rock and Roll.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah, the movie, the Chuck Berry movie,
documentary
with Keith Richards and stuff all throughout it.
Right, and Keith Richards decided he accepted the invitation to put the band together for a big concert at Fox Theater in St. Louis, and Clapton's in it, and but Johnny Johnson is credited nowhere on the package, but you see him over to the left, and a little picture of him on the cover. And Keith Richards discovered during this time, when they were learning all the songs, that they were all in piano keys.
Yeah.
They're all in horn keys, and B flat and E flat and C sharp and things like that. No guitar player would ever write in, because it's just too awkward. So you realize that Johnny Johnson had been the musical voice behind all those Chuck Berry songs, even though he was uncredited. You know, the people giving credit were, and even Chuck Berry got ripped off by the guy who produced the sheet music.
Yeah.
But Johnny was such a gentleman, and he was just there for the long haul, and we loved working with him. To hear him just naturally do what he did, playing the piano. We recorded a couple of incredible jams with him, and he's come to see us and sat in with us on stage a couple of times. And the guy was 79 years old this time last year, and to be up on stage with us, it was like there was no age. He was no different than the guys in Styx, and just the twinkle in his eye when he was up on stage, and he'd get into a groove, and things would start working. You could look over there, and he'd be smiling, just like he could have been 25 years old or anywhere in between. And we were all really sad to hear that he'd passed away.
Yeah, that was a huge loss, and I thought of you because I knew about the recording, and we had talked about that the last time you were on. And also at StyxWorld.com, your website, folks can see pictures of the gigs you were talking about. Actually, I don't know if you still have any of the. I know you still have a Billy Preston picture up there online.
Yeah, and there's a couple of pictures of Johnny.
Yeah, and I see one in the studio and with JY hanging out.
Yeah, it's funny. I had just taken the pictures down of Johnny on stage with us at the Vic Theater. Maybe I should put those back up.
Yeah, I would. It might be because that's where I had first seen it, and I was like, man, Tommy Shaw gets to work with all these legendary
I'm telling
people.
You, it's such a joy. Actually, I've got hard drives full of photos at home. When I get home, I'll dig that one out and put it back up.
Well, that's what's cool about you, dude, is you're such a fan of music and stuff. It's like talking to you. It's just like talking with a friend who loves music,
Yeah, and I've been so fortunate just to be able, all my life, I had the ability as a young player to kind of cheat and fake my way through things. So I would get to sit in with bands, even when I was in junior high school. I was playing with guys who were in college bands who would go out and play gigs, and I got to play bass in this 16-piece orchestra when I was 14 years old.
You started really young.
And I just faked. I had a good ear.
You faked it?
And I was young, and I didn't know any better. So you put those things together, and and I still don't know any better, and I'm still willing to go stand up and jump in the middle of something. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. And really, that wound up being a big asset. Foolhardiness has its place.
It leads to some creativity.
Yeah,
which for sure. And the record, as I've been taking a look at the track listing on Big Bang Theory, so much stuff on here, and it's all covers, and it's all stuff that I'm assuming you guys came together and sort of picked out the ones that most influenced you. Like, which of the songs on here were ones that you came to the table, and how did the set list? Is that how the set list came about?
Yeah, it really came down to, did this song have any effect on you as you were coming up? And I always loved a variety of music. That's what I loved about joining Styx, was suddenly what used to take me being in 3 or 4 bands at a time to express, here was one band where I could play all those different styles in one band. And so songs like Locomotive Breath, and I had all these. They were from this era of peace and love and sitting around stoned with the headphones on, listening to and I don't do that anymore, but I remember the experience. And those experiences, fortunately, back during those days, drugs weren't as lethal as they are anymore.
Sure.
It was just kind of happy, cheap $20 lids of Mexican pot that you smoke 10 joints on and that sort of thing. But a lot of that was what everybody did. You'd sit around and you'd listen to Crosby, Stills and Nash songs, or Jethro Tull, or the Allman Brothers, or Humble Pie, and all these things. And so when we got to play these songs again, we deconstructed them as we were going along, and it was amazing to see how much we'd changed in our recording techniques and our approach to music. And that was an extra surprise that we weren't expecting.
Was discovering that evolution in yourselves, sort of?
Yeah, we'd realized that we've kind of gotten away from guitar solos and drum solos, and because you get so used to trying to get a song on the radio, and as much as you try and resist that temptation, you can't help but be drawn that way. And so, like One Way Out's got 7 guitar solos in it.
Well, that's the band to be doing, a 7-guitar solo tribute.
So I got to I got to be Dickie Betts and Dwayne Allman
a couple of times, and Warren Haynes and Derek Trucks and everybody.
Yeah, and Todd got to be 2 drummers at one time. We did "I Can See for Miles" by The Who, which was really right up our alley vocally.
The thing that I think is cool about it, and it took several listens to "I Am the Walrus," which of course we've been on since we last talked several months ago.
Right.
The thing I've noticed is there's so much passion in the song. Like, you guys are laying into that thing like you really mean it, and that's, I think, the thing that, because it's got so much reaction on the phone.
Well, it's funny because the song really, it employs an orchestra and all these extra things outside a band. But when you're a musician, your imagination takes over, and you try and express those things through a guitar, which is the most expressive of all instruments. And so really what was coming out, and it's still, it's evolved a little bit since we recorded it. And there's things you can do with a pick on your guitar that makes it sound like the edge of a bow on a cello. And so in your mind, you're like playing it. You're trying to get that thing to sound like a cello, and you're trying to recreate all these sounds that you remember from that Beatles record. But we really didn't think about it. It's one thing to assess something. Well, this is what we were going through when we did it. But when you're actually doing it, you're just digging in and giving it what you got. And you don't really think about it. It
comes across like that. That's how I interpret the passion part. It's like it wasn't like a really structured thing. It sounds like it's from the heart and has a lot of like emotion, and soul.
We don't make too much of it, but that was an actual live recording.
Mm-hmm. So the one that's now on the record is the same one.
The same one, yeah. It's a live recording.
You just dusted out you got rid of the applause track or whatever.
Yeah, the record company got nervous
with that aspect
because they said that people don't want to hear live tracks.
Yeah, I get you. Because I was listening to it. That's what I said. I said, man, this is the same one. They just got rid of the applause. I was like, either that or they were able to go back in the studio and nail this thing precisely the same way.
Yeah, they just muted the audience track.
That's what I thought. And when you, I know I Don't Need No Doctor is single number 2, correct?
Right.
When you chose to put that on here, and I know you did that because it was a Humble Pie tune and stuff, but did you do the lineage of that song to like pre-Humble Pie, and like
Ashford and Simpson wrote it.
Right, and also Ray Charles used it as a song.
And I haven't heard Ray Charles's version of it.
Yeah, because when the day that we lost him, in addition to other things that we did to honor his life, I threw down that Humble Pie, because in a way, it's kind of like taking Ray to a whole different level, or taking
absolutely, and that's, see, we all have a little Ray in us, and we don't even realize it. Ray Charles, I mean, he was
the man.
Where would music be without Ray Charles, Chuck Berry,
James Brown,
people like that? You just can't imagine. It's what music has gone through in my generation is so phenomenal. I think it's going to take another couple of 100 years for there to be that kind of a revolution again.
Have you ever hung out with James Brown?
I was in a dressing room with him.
This is a good one. What year is this?
Here, it was probably 1984. It was when I had my Girls with Guns album out, and I did Dick Clark's 33 1/3 anniversary special, when he still, I guess, American Bandstand was just in its last few shows, and so he had 33 different artists, from Bo Diddley to James Brown, Mick Fleetwood, Glen Campbell, just all kinds of people. And one of the guys from the Dukes of Hazzard, Steve Cropper. This pretty neat bunch of people, and there were two dressing rooms backstage. 32 of us were in one dressing room, and James Brown was in the other one. and so Glen Campbell took me over and introduced me, and so it was like, I'm James Brown, and his wife came up and said, "This is Mrs. James Brown." And I'm thinking, does she have a name?
That's what I was gonna say. That's just Mrs. James Brown.
Mrs. James Brown. But it was so cool, though.
Did you get your picture with him?
No, I didn't even think of that.
You've done so much cool stuff, man. It's
I'm missing so many great photos too, because when you're in it, you're just so glad to be there, and you don't think about, let me get a picture. There's somewhere out there. There's a photo of me from the Hard Rock in New York. This time, Mick Jones from Foreigner had an After the Grammys party there, and a friend of mine who was a photographer there, who's since passed away, took this picture. It was me, Annie Lennox, let's see, I think Frank Zappa, Joey Ramone.
Oh, wow.
Andy Warhol.
You're kidding. With all of and you?
Mick Jones and this producer I was working with and me.
What year is this?
This was probably 87.
That's an outrageous Zappa,
I know, and it's out there
Warhol,
somewhere.
but with Frank in there, man, and stuff. That's outrageous, dude.
I know it.
That's sick. That's what I mean. Those are the kind of pictures, man, that are...
Well, I'm thinking it. I'm pretty sure Zappa was in it, but I know Annie Lennox. Let's say Annie Lennox. Yeah, I think Zappa was in it.
Damn, that is huge.
But Andy Warhol.
Yeah.
A picture with him would
it's
be
priceless.
Cool. Anyway, yeah. So I've been in the presence of some very great people.
Yes, you have. And on the record, so then the Johnny Johnson, he's on then the final track on the Big Bang Theory then, right?
Yes.
And who's the other? Is it like Coco Taylor?
Coco Taylor.
Right.
Singing her heart out on that.
She's badass too, man. You're huge like that with this record. And so that's the only, am I guessing that because that's the only track with special guests, that's why it's at the end of the record? Or
yeah, because really that was the impetus for the whole project, came from us recording at 2120 South Michigan. We while we were in there doing that, Eric Clapton found out about it and invited us to play the Crossroads Guitar Festival.
Correct.
And because we were going to be playing in Dallas 3 weeks before the Crossroads Festival anyway, we decided to do some different songs, and Walrus was one that Lawrence we'd heard him and Todd playing at Soundcheck before, and we were just trying to come up with something quick, and because we didn't have much time to do, we had one afternoon at a Soundcheck to rehearse everything, so we did like Queen Bee and Thrill Is Gone, Manic Depression, which is on Big Bang Theory too.
Yep.
So it was really the recordings at the old Chess Studios that made it all possible. And all the artist royalties from Blue Collar Man go to Willie Dixon's Blues Heaven Foundation, which
nice.
now resides at 2120.
Yeah, which you had taught us about the last time you were on. That's nice that'll happen.
Well, this is a great opportunity for us to plug back into the foundation and see if we can help raise some awareness for them again.
It's nice, man. You got a good heart.
Hey, I'm the luckiest guy on the planet.
Yeah, you are. Especially that crazy picture you're talking about that you don't even know if you got a copy of floating around.
No, I don't have a copy.
Oh, you don't?
My photographer friend died, just dropped dead on the streets of New York a few years ago.
Oh, that's wrong.
In the heat of the summer.
That's tough.
Yeah.
It gets hot there. How was the? I was meaning to ask you because I read that this was sort of now it's taken off and they're doing this with a lot of different bands and people are getting creative about these. That big cruise with REO and Journey. How was that?
It was it was surprisingly incredible. When we first heard about it, we were like, what? Is Captain Stubing going to be on there? We're not going to have to wear a lei or any of that crap. But when we got on there, it was this incredible vibe. It was full of our fans, and everybody who went on it just raved about it.
Was there a jam?
We did everything. We had a press conference in the middle of the act because we were all there on we had a captive audience.
But I mean, you guys all jammed together, like members?
Oh no, because it was just one band at a time.
Yeah. Okay,
over
each
3
day.
Different ports. We were able to go play while the ship was docked at port, so we had ground power.
Okay.
We had shore power, and I think we had the best experience as far as having enough power. The other bands played offshore, so they had a little bit of a hum from the generators. But it didn't matter because all the guys on our crew did the whole cruise. We just showed up and did we did a big meet and greet, and we did a question and answer kind of a thing where we sat down on the stage and everybody came in and got to have our attention for about an hour, and then we played the gig that night. But our guys, I kept getting emails and our manager was there, and they were just talking about how great a time they had, and they met a lot of great people and ate like pigs, and partied and got dressed up and sat at the captain's table and saw a lot of, it sounded like a very cool thing.
How many hours were you actually on the boat total?
I think about 8 hours.
Okay, wow, that's a full day.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun. I've never been on one of these boats before, and it was pretty incredible.
Nice, yeah. I've never been on a big cruise ship either, and where I live, I watch them sail.
I just don't know if I've got it in me. I'm a little. I'm so used to being a free spirit and coming and going when I want to go.
Be a little claustrophobic.
Yeah, a little. Just I like the concept of it.
You like the concept?
Yeah, I like the idea of it, and it'd be a great thing to do with your family. If you had like a family reunion, all go on a cruise or something like that.
I would just think it's like you're pressed up against so many people. It'd be like a lot of people to be jammed in there around.
Well, it's a very big, this was a very big ship, and there seemed to be plenty of room. Like Ricky, our bass player, said that for the first couple of days, because he went, there were some fans who were kind of like following him around, and he finally said, just let me have a little space here. And they were cool, and they found something else to do, and he never had any problems.
I can imagine it, though, dude. I can imagine it. That's cool. They're doing a lot of these. That's why I bring it up, because now...
Our crew, the favorite thing for our crew was the topless deck.
Oh, they had one of those?
Yeah, they had a Euro sunbathing deck, which, because some of our guys came back really sunburned.
You know where they were hanging out.
Yeah.
And, well, that's the thing. They customize these cruises to the lifestyles of, like, rock people. Like, they have a jam band cruise, Tommy. It's like Blues Traveler kind of deal.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's taken off.
Yeah, it's going to be like, so can you imagine the lifestyle adjustments on that thing? What's going to be going on? You going to do that thing again in the fall? Or
no one's mentioned anything about it.
Okay.
We may have, been the pioneers, and then they've moved on to wilder and crazier things.
Hey, remember I got you to do those IDs, and you did a 420 ID for me?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. I'm just wondering how many people have gotten you to do a 420 ID? And so you did one of those. Have you ever, besides me, am I the only person who got you to do one of those?
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Then I'm the pioneer.
You've done some crazy stuff, but that was the only
one. That was the only 420 I did.
Yeah.
So then I'm a pioneer with that.
Like, you don't get over to Kona, do you?
I do.
I mean, does your station get over there?
It's a little fuzzy, but that's the side of the Big Island.
My experience in Kona was a little fuzzy.
When were you there?
Oh God, I was there with. I was probably in 1979, maybe, with our one of the guys on our crew, and I think there were about a half dozen of us, and we went over. We were going to go fishing on the Humdinger over there, and on the way to the boat. It was a big deep sea fishing boat.
Uh-huh.
They sent this female cabbie to pick us up. And on the way over there, she said, "You guys want to party or anything?" And this is back when I still smoked pot, and we went, "Yeah, sure, we want to party." Because it was the end of the tour, and we were ready to party. And so she said, "Well, you ever smoked any Kona buds?" And I'm like, "No." And she said, "Well," so she passed us this joint, and we all had a couple of hits off of it. And by the time we got to the boat, we were paralyzed, and we were so quiet. We got on the boat. We were out there for about an hour, and finally, we started coming around. We're going, "Oh God, I'm so sorry. We're just really incapacitated by this." And they were saying, "I wondered what was going on with you because we heard these rockers were coming. You're going to be all wild and partying." And we just got in there. We couldn't say a word.
Got rather introspective about everything.
Yeah, it was very, very looking deep inside. That's why I had to quit doing that crap.
That's your memory of Kona, huh?
Well, and we caught these huge fish. I sent my parents the next time they had an opportunity to take a vacation. I sent my parents on the same trip,
nice.
Minus the cab ride. My father caught a 160-pound yellowfin tuna.
Wow!
And there was a picture of it. And it was bigger than him.
It sounds like that's bigger than me.
And because it was one of the things, my father and I used to go deep sea fishing while he was still on the planet, and this was a dream for me. He and I never got to go deep sea fishing together, but I wanted to make sure that he got to go on this major trip. And he said, as he's trying to reel this thing in, you're strapped to the pole.
Oh, that's real fishing there.
Yeah, and this thing was now you imagine the fight, 160-pound pissed off yellowfin tuna, and my father's he's about my size, so he's struggling with this thing, and he said, all I'm thinking of is, can I get my hand in my pocket and get my pocket knife
and cut the line?
Cut the line.
That's good stuff. He didn't do that though. He brought
him in. He said it was the fight of his life though.
I used to love deep sea fishing with my pop too. That's pretty cool.
It's a wonderful thing.
Man.
It's too. I don't. We used to fish in ponds when I was a little kid, and whenever I get up before sunrise, I still feel like that same feeling of getting up and going fishing with my dad.
Early morning, it's a weird time of day with the light and stuff. It makes it's very nostalgic in a lot of ways to previous stuff.
My wife did the same thing with her. She's from Tennessee, and her dad would take them fishing every once in a while. So it's a wonderful sort of a thing that is kind of lost today, I think. I don't think so many parents take their kids fishing anymore.
Yeah, man, there's not enough family activity in general, I don't think. You got kids and stuff?
I've got a daughter's going to be 18 in July.
Damn.
And she's never been fishing.
Well,
we lived in New York. She was born in New York when I lived there. And didn't have access to fishing up there.
You guys are tight?
Really, it was kind of lost. It was out of my tackle box by then.
Right. Yeah, it's easy to have happen. I mean, my pop is still alive. We just have drifted away from doing it, and also because I'm living way out here, and he lives on outside of Philly. So I know how that is. Are you tight with your daughter?
Well, she's 18, 17. She's going through a phase right now where we're not very tight, but it'll all come around again.
Okay. What's her name?
Hannah.
Neato. That's cool, man.
Yeah, Hannah. It's spelled like the palindrome.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And spell that for me, because I don't.
Hannah. It's spelled the same way frontwards and backwards.
Okay, nice. Oh, a palindrome. All right, now I get what you're saying, like Oxomoxo from the Dead or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get you. That's cool, man. That's candid of you to describe it that way. It's tough at that age too. Is she a classic rock fan?
No,
not at all.
She's not. She's kind of, how when you're that age you rebel against your parents.
Big time.
And so she's kind of gone that way for a little while, but I know that time wounds all heals.
Yeah, listen to you.
She's a tremendous musician, and she's one of those. It just killed me. I'd figure out something. It was taking me years to finally get a handle on it. I'd say, check this out, and I'd show it to her, and within 5 minutes she'd be doing it like she'd been doing it her whole life.
That has to be a bonding thing.
It's a wonderful thing. She's just a natural. I never pushed her to be a musician. She just is naturally a great singer, a great songwriter, a great guitar player.
Biologically, your daughter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, she is.
Well,
oh, yeah,
maybe
definitely. She looks like me on the back of the Grand Illusion album. Except for she's got pink hair and, she's kind of a goth kid now.
Right. I was going to say, well, maybe it runs in the genes.
I think so.
Well, Tommy, the thing you gotta keep in mind, I'll leave you with this because it's great talking to you, dude. You're very easy to talk to. And,
well, thank you.
Yeah, man. And I leave you with this: we're waiting for a show out here. I know it's financially and in other ways a lot of thought has to go into coming to Hawaii, but
I know we would love to make it happen.
People out here, I'm sure, I speak for a large number of my listeners, would really love it if somehow you could make it work with one of the concert promoters or something, and know that the station will be here for support of this new record that comes out next week, Big Bang Theory, and also.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna send my manager an email right now.
Really, it'd be cool, Tommy,
yeah.
And you get the support. We do something cool. I'll have you down with guest DJ, play some cool stuff on the radio.
I think he's probably worried that if I get over there, I won't leave.
He knows that Kona, but he does. He wants to keep you away from that caddy.
Don't play Kona. Oh God.
Good luck with all your stuff, brother.
Thanks, Dave.
How was this? Was this an okay interview?
It was a blast.
Cool.
It was like the Barbara Wawa interview, except I didn't cry.
Yeah, you're very revealing and stuff. It's great talking to you, man. And please do talk to your manager. We'll be here for you.
I'm going to send him a minute. I've got my America Online ready to go right now.
You're an animal. Be safe, man.
Thanks, Dave.
It's Tommy Shaw from the band Styx, and look for their new record in stores on this coming Tuesday, Big Bang Theory and KPOI 105.9. The Big Kahuna, Honolulu's only classic rock, is appreciative to have you as our guest here to wrap up 4 weeks at Rocked America. Big mahalo, Tommy.
Thanks, Dave. Mahalo. Hey, this is Tommy Shaw from Styx, and you are listening to 4 Weeks That Rocked America. Aloha, this is Tommy Shaw from Styx, and you're listening to the man, Dave Lawrence.